Hello everyone, my name is Woody Reedham Kerr, my name is, and this is my review for The Empire Strikes Back. So this movie came out 3 years after the first Star Wars movie, and in my view, this movie is a little better than the first one. I mean, with the stuff that they threw into this movie, they did have some stuff in it that was better than the first one. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best, I'm just saying that it was a great sequel, and they had some stuff in it that made it better than the first one. So what's it about? Well, the story involves Luke Skywalker 3 years after destroying the Death Star. He has grown strong, but not strong enough to be a Jedi, and still needs training. Obi-Wan, in spirit form, comes before him and tells him he needs to go to the Dagobah system to meet with Master Yoda. Good thing too, because the Empire found the rebel base and attacks them. Luke was able to escape and heads to Dagobah, where he finds Master Yoda and begins his training. Meanwhile, we have his friends being chased by the Empire from space, through the asteroid fields, from this giant worm that was about to eat them, and they were able to escape from the Empire and head to meet up with Han's friend Lando Calrissian, who unfortunately betrays them to the Empire so he can save his people. And Vader uses Luke's friends to try luring him into a trap so that he can take him to the Emperor, who reveals that Luke is who is Skywalker's son. But I think we all know who Vader is. So Luke abandons his training, goes to save his friends, and encounters Vader, and the two of them have a fight. Meanwhile, Han's friends escape, but Han is taken by Boba Fett and frozen carbonite and taken to Jabba the Hutt. Now, Luke and Vader fight. Luke gets his ass kicked, gets his hand cut off, and finds out the truth that Darth Vader is his father. Luke is able to escape from Vader, is saved by his friends, and it ends with the heroes not winning this fight. In my view, this was actually pretty good. I mean, this is probably the first time I've seen the heroes not win any against the bad guys. I would say that the Planet of the Apes, the sequel, is kind of the same thing, except this one, the heroes do survive, and where they live is not blown up, so that's a little better. But yeah, this is actually a pretty good story. We have Luke going through his training, we see what he's struggling with, and how even Yoda shows that nothing's impossible if he tries. But Luke thinks that lifting a ship from a swamp is impossible with the Force. Yoda shows him it's not impossible, and every time Luke shows us whines about something, Yoda keeps telling him like there is a way to do this, and I like that. I like how Luke is struggling with this, is struggling with being patient, struggling with listening, and also being able to use the Force, and even listening. Listening is probably the biggest flaw with him. We also have his friends going through all this journey from being chased by the Empire, trying to survive one another, and even being tortured by Vader, knowing that Luke is in danger. So I like how this story went. It's a little better than the first one, especially when we have so much stuff going on, but we still they keep it interesting and keeps you hooked. I think the one thing I liked most from the story is Vader revealing who he is to Luke. I think that is one of the biggest twists that we've ever seen from the Star Wars universe. I'm sure some people probably saw it coming. I, as a young kid, did not see that coming and was shocked that Vader was Luke's father. It was very surprising. Um, if I have to take anything away from the story, there are some stuff in it. Like, first of all, I don't think them being in the giant worm was necessary. I think you could have just had them in a cave and just recovering, and then once the Empire is gone, they could have just left. But instead, once they get out of the asteroid field, they're being chased again by the Empire. Now, I'm sure they're filling it up with time. They're trying to fill up with time, but still, it's kind of not needed. Them arriving on the planet where Lando is, I actually like that, but there are also some scenes where I feel like, you could have cut that a little bit. It's fine. And the other is when Lando reveals that the Empire arrived before them. That's kind of a flaw I have with it, because they arrived first. There's no way the Empire could have predicted where they were going to land. I'm sure you can use the argument that, well, Boba Fett told them. seriously doubt that he could have told them while they're heading there in time. So yeah, again, the story's not bad, especially when you have some great characters. Like Luke, for example, in this story, um, he complains a lot. He's impatient, like I said. He doesn't listen, and Yoda, when he meets him, could see that. He could see that he doesn't want to train him because of all these flaws. But Luke, you could tell, is trying. He's not a kid. He's an adult, and he doesn't have a lot of patience. He knows that the Empire is out there causing trouble, and he wants to hurry up and get stronger so he can save his friends. And I understand that, but still, there are some times with Luke I don't like much, but I still like him in this movie, especially how he even still risks his own life to save his friends, even though he knows it's a trap. Han and Leia in this movie, I love the chemistry between these two. It's much better than the chemistry we have with Anakin and Padme. It's way much better, and this relationship between the two is developed well. I like it. And I especially love when Han is about to be frozen. She tells him, "I love him," and he says, "I know." I like that line. I mean, that's a little corny, but it's still not bad. And you could tell she does care about him, and he cares about her too. It's a lot of fun to see this movie. Vader, I gotta say, is very cold in this movie, especially every time one of his own fails on a mission, he kills them. No second chances. He doesn't say, "Oh well, better luck next time." No, he kills them. He chokes them with the Force. Actually, no, there was one where he didn't even need to move his hand up. He just uses his mind, kills the guy. That is, I have never seen that before. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Vader in this movie is very ruthless. He doesn't give a shit and doesn't even keep his word. It just shows how evil he is, especially when he reveals to Luke the truth. Although I have to say, one of the flaws I kind of have to have with him is he knew Luke's last name, so he should have known that Luke was his son from the very beginning. Guy blew up your Death Star. You couldn't, whatever. But the one character I like the most in this movie, I mean, Chewbacca, R2, and C-3PO are good characters, but I think the one I like the most from the whole thing, better than the other characters, is Yoda. Yoda in this movie is awesome. He at first you think he's this goofy old little guy, but once he reveals that who he is, it just shows that he was acting goofy on purpose just to irritate Luke to see how much patience he has, which shows he doesn't have a lot, which I found funny. And I also like the lessons he's trying to teach Luke, trying to show him that nothing is impossible with the Force. And we saw that when he lifted that ship from the swamp with ease. I'm like, wow. It just shows that, and when he tells him, "That is why you failed." Sorry, I can't do the voice. My throat's hurting. That was pretty cool. I mean, that's what I love about Yoda, is that this Yoda is much better than the prequels Yoda, because this one is much wiser, doesn't look like a puppet like in the first movie before they CGI'd it, and he's trying to show Luke the ways of the Jedi without getting frustrated, angry, or being patient, which I like. So yeah, the characters do have their flaws, but all in all, they're all pretty good characters. What about the visuals, the special effects? How did they look? They still look pretty cool, especially when we get to the locations. Like, Hoth looks pretty cool. Dagobah looks pretty good as well, especially when you try training there. But the one I think I like the most is the planet Bespin. I think that's the name. Probably said the name wrong. I'll look it up. But either way, I like the Cloud City where Lando lives. It looks amazing. It looks beautiful. I love it. The special effects for the fight scenes as well with the giant walkers look pretty good too. Although I have to say, for the Empire, it's not very smart to make a big weapon that goes very slow. I mean, it has its strength, but it has so much weaknesses. So, again, I like the effects. They're all pretty cool. And looking forward to the ones for episode 7. So, again, if you guys have a different opinion about this movie, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. I'll be here next time to give you more love and more entertainment. Take care, and see you next time for episode 6 Sunday.